of the best ways that you can get good at guitar fast is by learning the right way to play your favorite melodies, or the melodies of songs that bring you joy. This creates a positive feedback loop which will make practicing easy. And if you're new to the guitar, what better way to do that than with Christmas songs? Today I've prepared 3 songs that you can use to get down the basics of how to play your instrument, while also learning a couple of holiday classics in time for the 25th. But first, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Troy Surson. It rhymes with person. I've been teaching guitar for over a decade, and this time of year is one of my favorites, because I teach a lot of students, and nothing puts a smile on people's faces like hearing their guitar sound like a song that they know well, and has positive memories attached to it. So without further ado, we're going to learn 3 songs by the same composer, Johnny Marks. Johnny was an American songwriter born in New York in 1909. He started writing songs at the age of 13 and earned a Bronze Star as an Army captain in World War II. After the war, his brother-in-law wrote a poem in 1949 that inspired our first song, known as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So we're going to start by grabbing our guitar, and if you want to follow along with your own copy of the music during the video, I've got a link in the description. Looking through the music for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, almost all of this song is in second position. Second position means that our first finger is going to play the notes that are in the 2nd fret, our second finger will play the notes in the 3rd fret, our 3rd finger will play the notes in the 4th fret, and our 4th finger will play the notes in the 5th fret. There are 2 spots where that breaks. That's going to be in measure 15 and 16. There's going to be 2 notes where we have to duck out. For those, you can use really any fingers that you'd like. What I like to do is keep things very strong and stable in the hand on a shift. So I'm going to use finger 3 on the B on the 7th fret, and I'm going to use my first finger on the A on the 5th fret. That same change happens in measures 31 and 32 at the end of the song. If we look at the passage that precedes it, we're going to be going. When you're learning this, the best way to do this, especially if you're new, is to learn this 2 measures at a time. This song's an example of one of many songs that use something called a swing rhythm. A swing rhythm happens when you have 2 notes that are the same, and instead of reading them exactly as written on the page, you're going to treat the one that's on the left as longer, and the one that's on the right as shorter. Or, in what's called a Scotch snap, you would do the opposite, where you would have the one on the left be shorter and the one on the right longer. This is going to be a regular swing rhythm, where we're going to have the 8th note on the left is going to be longer, and the 8th note on the right will be shorter. If you have an 8th note that falls on the beat, you're going to treat it like a triplet quarter note. And if you have an 8th note that falls off the beat, you're going to treat it like a triplet 8th note. If you're brand new to guitar, a better way to learn swing rhythms is to just not worry about it right now. If you know the tune of the song, you don't have to worry about the particulars of the rhythm. But if you're a little more advanced and you're trying to understand why certain rhythms are the way that they are, that's the answer for it. From here, the best way to learn this song is to treat it 2 measures at a time. And what we're going to do is we're going to look for things that repeat. If you're looking at the score, measures 1 and 2 are the same as measures 9 and 10. Measures 3 and 4 are the same as measures 11 and 12. Measures 13 and 14 are the same as 5 and 6. And then 15 and 16 are different than 7 and 8. 17 to 24 is the bridge, so that's all new information. And then we can see 25 to 32 is the same as measures 9 through 16. So if you're following along on a paper copy of the score, you can just mark this up as you go, and you'll notice that quite a bit of this song repeats itself. If you're learning this song to help with technique, try to keep your hand in one place the entire time you're playing the song, except for in 15 and 16 and 31 and 32 where you have to duck out to 7 and 5. So that'll keep finger 1 on the 2s, 2 on the 3s, 3 on the 4s, and 4 on the 5s. And before we play through it, another best practice is with your picking hand. If you're finger picking, rest your thumb on the low E string, and then alternate pick with your index and middle fingers. The second song I want you to learn from his catalog is often attributed to Brenda Lee, the most popular singer of the song. But in fact, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, published in 1958, is another Johnny Marks classic. Unlike Rudolph, this song is in open position. Open position on the guitar is played when you have fingers 1 on the 1, 2 on the 2s, 3 on the 3s, and 4 on the 4s. Or if there's nothing on the 4th fret, your third finger will play the 3s that are on E, A, D, and G, and your pinky will play the 3s that are on B and E. This is another song that's in a swing rhythm, so we're going to treat the 8th notes that are on the beat as triplet quarter notes, and the 8th notes that are off the beat as triplet 8th notes, making them a little bit longer and a little bit shorter respectively. Similar to Rudolph, we want to also look for where things repeat. At a first glance, we can see that measures 1 through 6 match 9 through 14, which also match 25 through 30. So already we've got quite a bit of repetition going on in this song. Let's see here. Measure 17 through 24, unique. 31 to 33 is unique. 15 to 16 is pretty close to 7 and 8, but they're still technically unique. So if we learn 17 measures, we can play all 33 for this one. For best practices with your left hand, since everything's in the first 3 frets for this song, you're gonna make sure that you keep finger 1 on the 1s, 2 on the 2s, finger 3 for E, A, D, and G, and try to use your pinky for those notes on the B and the E string that are on the 3rd fret. There's only one of them, and it's going to be the word deck that comes up in measure 23. If you're following along on your score at home, make sure to make a note right there. The other spot I would consider using my pinky is if you go to measure 18, you can see that we've got 2 notes on the 3rd fret right next to each other. So we've got the T in sentimental is going to be C, 3rd fret on the A string. Then the men in sentimental is going to be an F, the 3rd fret on the D string. Personally, how I would play this is I would use my 3rd finger for the C and I would use my pinky for the F. If you were to use your 3rd finger to play the C and then hop down, it would clip the note a little bit and it wouldn't be as smooth, but it's definitely doable. And similar to the last one, you're gonna alternate pick with your right hand. If you're finger picking, you're going to rest your thumb on your low E string. And if you're using a pick, you're just going to alternate pick down up. One other spot in the piece where I would break the 1 on the 1, 2 on the 2, 3 on the 3, is if we go to measure 15, you're going to have do some care, and you'll be on finger 2 for the care and caroling. Then there's going to be another note on the 2nd fret, the B that's on the A string. For that, I would use my 1st finger to reach up there. And the logic for this is, let's say that you're stopped on your 2nd finger like in this example. If it's a 2nd fret note that I'm reaching for that's on a lower string closer to my face, I'm going to use my 1st finger to reach up with it. Whereas if it was a 2nd fret note that's on a higher string closer to my feet, I'm going to use my 3rd finger to reach down. And last but not least, my personal favorite of the 3, most famously performed by Burl Ives in 1964, is A Holly Jolly Christmas. Similar to Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, this is all in open position. So we're going to use finger 1 on the 1s, 2 on the 2s, 3 on the 3s for E, A, D, and G, and then our pinky on the 3s for B and E. This one will have a few more times that we're going to have to use our pinky, starting with the pickup measure. Next time is all the way down in measure 24, and in measure 31. So you have to use your pinky 3 times for this one. I think you can do it. You got this. Now in measure 2, similar to what we just had with Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, we're going to land on the A, the 2nd fret with our 2nd finger for the word Christmas. And for the Mass in Christmas, it's going to be an E, which is directly above it, also in the 2nd fret. So to reach that note, we're going to use our 1st finger. Same thing's going to happen in measure 10 and in measure 26. Now because of the pickup measure, it doesn't make it as clean to say which measures are repeating. But if you draw little brackets on your music, you'll be able to see it. So if we look from the very beginning of the music up to the first rest, which happens in measure 8, you'll see that we've got that same pattern of notes as in the pickup bar, and then everything repeats from the beginning all the way until the end of measure 15, which is the same as up to the end of measure 7. The only thing that's different is measure 16 is different from measure 8. Similar to these last 2 Christmas classics, measure 17 through 24 make up the bridge, and in measure 24 we'll see the pickup again, that have a, which has happened at the beginning of the song at a measure 8. And then that leads us into a verse where measures 25 through 28 match what we were doing in measures 1 through 4, but 29 through 32 is different. With this one, if you learn 21 measures, you'll have all 32 down. Just to review technique, with your left hand, we're going to be in open position, so finger 1 on the 1s, 2 on the 2s, 3 on the 3s for E, A, D, and G, 4 on the 3 for B and E. If you've got two notes that are in the same measure back to back, if the new note's on a lower string, you're going to use a lower finger on your fret hand. If the new note's on a higher string, you're going to use a higher finger on your fret hand. And similar to all of these, with your picking hand, you're going to alternate pick I, M and keep your thumb on the low E string to anchor things, or you're going to use a pick to pick up and down. Before we do a playthrough of the music, I want to talk about something that comes up in the bridge. So in measure 17 through 20, you'll be going through, and when you land on the E for mistletoe, following the normal logic, you would use your third finger for that second fret, that A, it's for hung. But then when you go to the F for the word where, your third finger is not free to go to that third fret, so you would end up using your pinky. If you wanted to avoid using your pinky here, what you could do is you could break this general rule of thumb that we're doing, and you would still use your second finger for the E for toe and mistletoe, and then you would use your first finger to reach down for that second fret note for hung, leaving your third finger free to play the F that's on where. Whichever one you choose to do, I just want you to write it down on your copy of the music so that you do it the same way every time. The other one's going to be in measure 23, where for the word once, we're going to be on E, which we would use with our second finger on the second fret normally. But then we have that F sharp that's going to be in the fourth fret. You might choose to avoid using your pinky here because you've got an open string on either side of these two notes, which means you could shift out of open position and you're going to move your hand over one fret using your first finger on the second fret and using your third finger on the fourth fret. If you choose to do that, make sure you make a note on your copy of the music as well. Without further ado, we're going to play through the music now.